And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Glad you're able to join us again this evening. Men's and women's basketball coming down the stretch in USA South Conference play. We're also going to have some guests from the BC baseball program later in the show. But before we get started, I do want to thank our sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Appreciate all their support. Arby's, BSN Sports, eGolf, Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Party Sports Medicine, Pepsi, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Also want to take special recognition, Party Sports Medicine and Southeastern Sports Medicine Orthopedics, the official healthcare provider for the BC Tornadoes. In addition to the outstanding quality of care provided by the orthopedic doctors, Pardee also offers care in the areas of oncology, cardiovascular, primary care, and several subspecialties. Pardee Sports Medicine, proud partners with Brevard College Athletics. Well, spring sports are underway at Brevard College, and it's that exciting time of the year where basketball season is still in its full bloom, and spring sports are starting to get underway around the land of the Tornadoes. Baseball was in action this past weekend, splitting a doubleheader on Saturday at Averett. Game 3 of the series was canceled due to weather. Baseball will be at Toccoa Falls this Saturday. That's an 11 a.m. start for a doubleheader in Toccoa, Georgia. And then opening day at Gilcone Field is this Sunday, also versus Toccoa Falls, a doubleheader that begins at noon. Hope to see you there. This Friday, men's and women's tennis will have its season opener versus Johnson and Wales. That's 2 o'clock on Friday at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Great opportunity for you to see those student athletes. And then men's lacrosse will have its season opener, actually a road trip to Virginia. Friday, 6 p.m. It gets started in Lynchburg, Virginia. And then the next game of the trip, Sunday, 11 a.m. in Ferrum, Virginia versus Ferrum. Softball will begin its season on Sunday at Agnes Scott. That's a 1 p.m. start for the doubleheader in Decatur, Georgia. Women's lacrosse, its season opener at home, the friendly confines of Islamel Family Field, as the Tornadoes host Randolph. That's an 11 a.m. start on Sunday. Hope to see you there. Women's basketball is coming off a big win in conference play in Fayetteville, North Carolina, as the Tornadoes defeated Methodist 64-56. We'll talk to Coach Hudson a little later in the show about that. And also, Michaela Street, the exciting freshman for the Tornadoes from Rock Hill, South Carolina, named USA South Conference Rookie of the Week for the third time this season. Some breaking news there. Exciting award garnered there for Michaela Street. Women's basketball will have its home regular season finale, 7 p.m. Wednesday at the Bosch. That's versus Greensboro. And then at Salem on Saturday, that's the regular season finale in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Men's basketball team wins over Greensboro 74-72, and then also Methodist 77-72 last week. And then a game against the top team in the USA South Conference, North Carolina Wesleyan. This game went to overtime, 74-68, NC Wesleyan on top. KK Horton named USA South Men's Basketball Rookie of the Week. KK's a sophomore, but this is his first season playing collegiate basketball after sitting out last year, and as a result was eligible for this Rookie of the Week honor, and he indeed earned it this past week for his performance in those 3 games we mentioned. BC will be back in action at William Peace in a big game on Saturday, 2 p.m. in Raleigh, North Carolina. And with that, excited to bring in our first guest of the evening as we welcome into the show head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the program.
Yep, glad to be here as always. Thanks, Phil.
Well, an action-packed week this past week, and, I'm sure, you're still kind of dissecting it all and so forth, but if you could take our listeners kind of through that whole odyssey, 3 straight games in 1 week at home, and, two of them victories, then the third one against the top team in the conference going to overtime.
Yeah, so, had a big week at home, games that were of vital importance to our chances of making the conference tournament, which obviously we want to do. So a lot of pressure on those games, and able to come away with wins against Greensboro and Methodist, like you mentioned. Um, Yesterday against North Carolina Wesleyan, just we laid it out there. We did, and our guys played well. Told them in the locker room, I felt like North Carolina Wesleyan got a good shot from us. They did not get our best shot, but they got a good shot from us. And not able to come away with a win, but um, winning 2 of 3 at home this week has put us in a position where we control our own destiny for making the conference tournament, which when we were sitting at 2-7 was tough for us to fathom that would be the case. But we've really embraced some things that are important and are playing better. There's still a wide margin for where this thing could go with us. We've got 1 game left in the regular season for us, and we can still finish anywhere from 4th and host a game in the first round to 7th and not make the conference tournament. So there's still a lot of margin in there, but we control our destiny for making the tournament, which we are glad about. So we've got a big game, like you mentioned, against another very good team, a team that's already secured the number 2 seed in the conference tournament, William Peace on the road. So we were off today, and we'll start our prep work on them tomorrow.
Outstanding. Yeah. It's so exciting to be in position, for postseason play, and it'll all shake out this week. Some of the teams are playing 2 games this week in the USA South Conference. So that even complicates it more as far as, watching all these scoreboards along the way. But also, Coach, this past weekend was a senior day celebration. And this was a real special one, as 5 seniors were recognized before the NCAA Wesleyan game. Just an outstanding group. Quincy Carter, Paris Crawford, Eli Kessinger, David Seeley, Chancey Watson, also student manager Tamia McGee. We talked about it a little last week, Coach, but would love your reflections even further on this outstanding group of seniors.
Yeah, you mentioned it, a special group. I don't think we've ever had 5 seniors here in my 11 years as the head coach. So special to have that many guys that are finishing their careers with us, and yeah, special group that's been through a lot. And I know I mentioned it in several of the talks. We've got a couple guys in David and Paris who will be on the show a little bit later, specifically chosen for this one because they're 4-year guys. They've been with the program for 4 years, which is very, very special. And to go through a lot of the transition that this program has gone through over those 4 years, they've been a huge part of the progress that we've been able to make. And then Quincy, Chancey, and Eli, both valuable in their own right. And a lot of guys, a lot of people, fans recognize obviously the contributions of Chancey and Quincy for sure. Just statistically, all those guys have been huge in the program, as well as Eli. Everybody's got a role on this team, and everybody's been able to embrace it thus far. And hopefully we can continue to do that and finish strong.
Coach, back to where we're at this point in the season. I think most observers of this year's team will note that really playing at a whole different level this last week or two. What do you attribute this everything clicking, a flipping of the switch, whatever cliche you want to use, as far as the Tornadoes really playing well in all phases?
I agree with you. I think we are playing better. We are playing well in some areas. We are playing better. I would attribute it really to the character of our group, and something that will be a challenge for the future groups moving forward is to try to figure this out a little bit earlier than this group did, and that falls on me as the head coach to try to get done. But I really think because of the character of the group, and what I mean by that is our backs were against the wall, and I think that we, for lack of a better term, bowed our neck and said enough is enough. And really, we knew that we were a better group than what we had shown, and really with no room for error, no real opportunities for any backward steps, have been able to get it right, kind of in a hurry here. So, we still got a lot to play for here, and so we're going to go play for a lot right now, and then moving forward, we're going to work to get ourselves in a position moving forward in the program where we are hopefully playing at this level for a more consistent period of time during the year. But for this group, I think we always had the confidence and the belief that we were a better team than what we had shown. I think we did need to focus on a few things a little bit more diligently than what we had focused on. And it took us getting our back against the wall to say, okay, I think that these things that we talk about being important are important. So I've got to do a much better job of communicating that earlier. But I think that's really what it's boiled down to. There has not been a lot of strategic changes, not a lot of X's and O changes, more just mentality and attention to detail, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Outstanding, coach. Do want to mention one individual we mentioned at the top as well. KK Horton being named the USA South Conference Men's Basketball Rookie of the Week, and he's been a big part of the success in these recent weeks as well. Getting it done in a lot of different categories: rebounds, assists, steals. Putting the ball in the basket as well, and he's really been on the boards in particular, getting it done, game in and game out. Would love to hear you tell NATO Nation a little more about, KK and his level of play.
Yeah, definitely proud of him and happy for this recognition for him. It's taken him a little bit of time to get his feet under him this year. He did not play a whole lot as a senior in high school due to injury, and then did not play at all his first year here, as you mentioned, due to those same injuries. So when he started the year this year playing, he had not seen a lot of game action for a couple of years, and so I think just getting used to that pace of play, the physicality, the speed, the conditioning part of it, all of it just took him a little while to get going. But we've always known he's very talented. He's one of a few guys on our team that are very versatile scorers, can score the ball a lot of different ways. And he's a very willing passer as well, which is a great combination to have, a versatile scorer and a willing passer, because those guys are very, very hard to guard. And then defensively, he plays with a lot of energy. He's a very good on-ball defender. And you mentioned the glass, and it has not been uncommon here down the stretch to look up and find him with 7, 8, 9 rebounds in a game, which is a great number, especially out of the guard spot for us.
Yeah, been outstanding on the glass. And, Coach, we'll wrap with this. We spoke earlier about, the week of preparation, and obviously that this huge game on Saturday at William Peace, 2 p.m. in Raleigh, North Carolina. For members of NATO Nation who might be in the area and able to come on out to the game, or if they're tuning in on the stream, can you give us a bit of a preview as far as the matchup, Brevard and William Peace?
Yeah, we played a very competitive game here at our place. William Peace won by 4. I think both teams operated at a very high level offensively in those games. William Peace is a very talented offensive team. Everybody on the floor for them can score the ball and can really put up big numbers. Michael Doolin for them, number 3, a very prolific shooter, a guy that we were trying to take 3-pointers away from in the game here, and he went 6 of 9 from the arc. So there's just a little kind of snippet in terms of our attention to detail that wasn't really there early in the year that has been better for us. We're certainly going to have to trim that number way down, not give him 9 good looks for a guy who's very good from the arc. Timothy Pettiford is you could make a case of player of the year in the league. He's played at a very high level as well. It's just a very, very talented offensive group, and they're hard-nosed defensively. They've won a lot of close games. They've just won a lot of close games, and they've got a toughness about them that is hard to crack. And we were right there at our place and not able to get over the hump. I think we're in a different place now. Looking forward to the game. I think it will be an exciting one for sure. So, yeah, if anybody is around, come wear some blue and make some noise.
Outstanding. Well, appreciate all that, Coach. Are you able to stick with us a couple more minutes here as we invite in a couple of student athletes of the men's basketball program?
For sure. Bring them on.
All right. We've got 2 of the seniors ready to come on in here, Paris Crawford and David Seeley. I'll hand it back to you, Coach. Tell us even more about these 2 outstanding student athletes.
Yeah, David from Deltona, Florida, and Paris from Atlanta, Georgia. Again, on this program, the day after senior day on purpose, because both of these guys are 4-year guys in the program. David has had a large leadership role with this group for the last several years, vocally, in huddles, in the locker room, just a vocal leader for us that it does not go unnoticed, and it's certainly appreciated and needed. Paris is he's a lead by example guy. Paris battled some injuries middle part of his career, but both of these guys have the respect of their teammates. Seniors are important. They're important to showing the guys how the program is going to be run, what's going to be tolerated, what's going to be acceptable, and these guys have done a fantastic job helping keep our group in line. So proud of these guys, love these guys, and definitely want to highlight just their importance to the group as fourth-year seniors. We've got 5 seniors, and they are all important to the group, but 4-year guys are special, and these are 2 of them right here.
Outstanding. Well, really looking forward to the conversation to follow here, Coach. Thanks for making some time for us this evening. Best of luck this weekend in Raleigh.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, there he goes, head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess. And join now in that top right corner, senior David Seeley. David, thanks for joining the program.
Appreciate you for having me, Phil.
All right, and also with us, Paris Crawford. Great to have you with us as well. Paris, how are you?
Good. How are you, Phil?
Doing great. It's great to have you guys on. Really appreciate you coming on this evening. And, first order of business is this was quite the senior day celebration. We got 2 for the price of 1. We had 2 games, and, we had all 5 seniors plus student manager Tamia McGee. You guys were in the locker room, but there was even a cheerleader senior day ceremony during halftime on Sunday. So a festive day for the fans and everybody, but would love to hear from each of you as far as, what that moment felt like, sort of some of the reflections you may have been having, this being your senior year here for the Tornadoes. And like Coach said, being here all 4 years. David, we'll start with you. How did it feel on senior day as far as, that moment?
Honestly, it just feels a little bit weird, because being here for a while, the time flies. So I remember when we were just freshmen, seeing our seniors go out. So just a little bit surreal. Try to take in the moment, but we had to quickly shake out of it and get ready to play a game, get ready to try to win.
Yeah, that's a good point because just to go behind the curtain a little bit, the ceremony was held with 12 minutes on the countdown clock, so you guys are in game mode and you have to pause to do that. And, it's part of the deal, here in college basketball as far as, these senior day celebrations, but, hats off to you guys as far as able to, get refocused on the game and so forth. Paris, tell us about your experience senior day and senior day weekend.
It was an exciting experience. Like David said, it was surreal. Like looking back on our 4 years here, it's been a great time. It's just been a great time being at Brevard for all 4 years. And but like David said, we had to turn around and get right back to the game, get in game mode. So yeah.
Yeah, great point. And while we're on the subject, can you talk about a little bit as far as those 4 years go? And David, we'll start with you. It is a different deal where you guys are, yes, there's 5 seniors, but you 2 have been through a bunch, in the 4-year run here at Brevard College, and you've played with a bunch of different teammates. You've been through all sorts of, ebbs and flows of these different seasons and so forth. And, it takes on a different role, I'm sure, as leaders, when you have that much experience. David, can you talk about the 4-year run and how that's prepared you to be a leader on this year's team?
Yeah, for sure. So, I guess I could start with freshman year. It was very different than it was now, than it is now. I think actually Paris and I was brought in by a different assistant coach than everybody else here. So, our guy was KJ. He ended up leaving a little bit into our freshman year, but so that's the different part. Different assistant coach. Obviously we had, some seniors ahead of us that we looked up to a little bit, and seeing those guys go through their senior year and how they handle themselves and, how they compose and got us through that. It was a tough year, but we ended up getting some momentum at the end. And then I guess on the sophomore year was COVID. So we barely played. We played I think 7 games. I played 6. I missed one with COVID. So that was different. That was challenging. So it almost feels like the last 2 years were the real years that, that kind of got us our momentum going. So last year we was able to, put something together, go to the playoffs, break a drought. And then this year we try to continue that same momentum. So, we saw all these guys that are here come in and, we've meshed with them and be good teammates to them. So we just trying to get something going and continue it.
Yeah, well said. Paris, how about yourself as far as thoughts on, the 4-year run?
From the beginning, I feel like from our freshman year, we just been trying to, build a culture here and just trying to, improve every year. Obviously, with COVID during our second year, we weren't able to do that. And I had an injury during the second year as well. But through the third and fourth year, I feel like we've just been building momentum and building a culture around Brevard basketball. So as we just look to continue to do that throughout this season and just, look to extend our season this season.
Paris, let's stick with you. You're a senior guard out of Atlanta, Georgia. Let's start with that. As far as, coming from Atlanta, obviously, high level of high school and youth basketball in a big market like that. And then finding your way to Brevard College. David talked a little bit about the recruiting process and Coach Kalen Johnson being part of that as well. But Paris, can you reflect back on kind of, going from Atlanta as a high school player and then arriving here at Brevard as a freshman and that decision making as far as coming here to Brevard, what that was all about as well?
Yeah, there was a lot of thoughts and decisions going through my head during my senior year of high school. But as David said, we had a different assistant coach recruiting us our freshman year, and coming up out of Atlanta, there's a lot of good competition out there, a lot of good teams and stuff like that. But one of the reasons I chose Brevard was because I felt it was the best fit for me, and I just wanted to continue my academic opportunities here.
And speaking of academics, Paris, you'll be graduating this spring with a bachelor's in business and organizational leadership from Brevard College, and would love to hear from you as far as your focus, within that major, and also what you're looking to do post graduation.
Post grad, there's a lot of different options out there, but I think I'm gonna try to create my own business at some point. Not really sure what it's gonna be right now, but I think I'm gonna look into that.
Very good. And David Seeley, senior guard, Deltona, Florida native. And, you're one of several student athletes here throughout NATO Nation that has made the trip from Florida up here to the mountains of Western North Carolina. Same question that we had for Paris, David. Tell us a little bit about that adjustment, coming from Florida up here to the mountains and, maybe some of your first impressions when you arrived here at Brevard.
Yeah, it was obviously an adjustment, coming from somewhere with just a different climate, a different atmosphere. So I had to obviously try and get used to the weather here, get used to the scenery. Hadn't seen mountains, hadn't seen snow, so that's different. But all in all, you get kind of distracted from it when you're here. You doing school, you doing basketball. It kind of, you're in awe at first, but then you get kind of used to it. And the people around, everybody's friendly. So I didn't really have any problems adjusting to it.
Outstanding. And David, you'll be graduating this spring with a bachelor's in exercise science. Tell us about your studies and also what you're looking to do post-graduation.
Yeah, so my studies have gone well all 4 years. I can't complain. There's definitely some challenging coursework, in my major. So, I had to kind of buckle down for a few classes and put my head in the books. But overall, the experience has been pretty good. I have good professors that help me out. They look out for me. My advisors look out for me. So I can't complain as far as that goes. And then, I'm excited to be graduating, of course. And my mom, my dad, proud of me. They like what I'm doing. They think this field fits me. And I guess since I was in high school, first starting to go through injuries and stuff, I've been interested in how to help people and exercising, staying healthy and coming back from injury. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I do a internship at a physical therapist's office here in town. So I'm not sure if I'm going to take the physical therapy route, but I'm going to do something along that, like to help people.
Outstanding. Well, both of you are graduating with some, outstanding credentials and from some great programs here at Brevard College. Paris from the business and organizational leadership major, and then also David with the degree in exercise science this spring. Now, guys, back to the hardwood. One more game here in this regular season. It's a big one, as these teams jockey for postseason position in the USA South Conference. The Tornadoes will head to William Peace on Saturday at 2 p.m. in Raleigh. Big week of preparation as well. Would love to hear from your perspective, what's going to be the key this week for you all as a team to, get that W at William Peace. David, kicks off.
Yeah, so the key for us is just play with as much intensity and energy as we can. I think that's been our calling card these past few games, is keeping us afloat. Really, when we, like Coach said, had our backs against the wall, we had nothing to lose, so we just turned up the energy a little bit, and then that's what's been helping us. Personally, I don't think anybody wants to play us right now the way we play. So William Peace is a good team. They got good players that we're gonna have to defend them and do our best to stay in front of them, keep the shooters from making a lot of threes. So, we're going to lock in on the scout and everything like that. But I think even though we just lost, we got a lot of momentum going our way. So I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Wins in 3 of the last 4 games, and the only loss coming in overtime against the top team in the USA South Conference. Paris, same thoughts on that topic. This week in practice, critical, and then obviously a big road game to finish up the regular season.
Yeah, I feel like we just got to carry the momentum from our last 4 games. Obviously, like you said, winning the last 3 out of 4, and then a close one against North Carolina Wesleyan. I just feel like this week we got to lock in on the scout. During the game, we got to make sure we're locked in on defense and try to get stops.
Outstanding. Well, before we let you two go, the senior day variety, do you want to give you the chance? Any thank yous, shout outs, anybody who's helped you along the way get to this point? David, we'll let you kick things off. Shout outs or thank yous?
Yeah. Shout out to everyone that helped me get here. Of course, God, my parents, my family. I want to give a shout out to Charles Reed. It's his birthday. It's my teammate. Shout out to KK just for making Rookie of the Week. Shout out to Paris. He's been here with me my whole 4 years. So I just want to appreciate everybody that helped me and been in my circle, been having my back. That's it.
Paris, same opportunity for you.
Yeah, I just want to thank God, my family, my teammates, KK for Rookie of the Week, Charles because it's his birthday, and coaches as well. I just want to thank all of them.
Outstanding. Well, congratulations to each of you, senior day ceremony this past weekend, and, just really a lot of fun to witness both of you guys throughout your career, get to know you guys, off the court as well. Really appreciate everything you guys have done for Brevard College and, that entire senior class, Quincy Carter, Eli Kessinger, Chancey Watson, student manager Tamia McGee, and then the 2 gentlemen you're seeing here on the screen, Paris Crawford and David Seeley. Congratulations. Best of luck this weekend at William Peace, and we'll be seeing you around the Bosch, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, there they go. Really appreciate our 2 guests from men's basketball. We're going to quickly shift gears here to the women's side of the ledger as we bring in head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining the program.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, Phil.
Hope great to be with you. Yeah, haven't had the chance to really catch up since this past weekend as the Tornadoes able to get a big road win, 64-56 in Fayetteville, North Carolina. For those who weren't able to perhaps tune in to the stream, Coach, can you give us sort of a summary of how that game transpired in Fayetteville?
Yeah. A long day for us, Phil. And we knew that going into it. So we woke up pretty early, left around 7:30. About a 4.5-5 hour trip. Got some pregame meal on the way down. Got to the arena in plenty enough time to get dressed and get stretched and get that bus ride off of us. Got some shots up in pregame and had a nice warm up. And it was their Think Pink game. So they're Play for K. And it was a very, very nice atmosphere. They had it decorated nicely, and they kind of celebrated their breast cancer survivors and everything. So it was a nice atmosphere, good crowd, road game and conference that held a lot. A lot was riding on that game. So both teams kind of got off to an okay start. We started to pull away a little bit midway through the first. and into the second. They battled back as we thought they would. And I think we went into the half one or two possessions. It was pretty close game. And it just was nip and tuck back and forth in the second half. We were able to make some plays down the stretch to get ourselves a little bit of leadway and come out of there with a nice win. It was a very, very gritty game. Very gritty game. We didn't shoot the 3-ball well, but we scored inside well. Like Nalia Boyce had a really big game for us. They didn't really have an answer for her inside, and our defense was there. It was a game where we kind of played, I wouldn't say a full 40 minutes, but I was pleased with at least 34 of the minutes. Phil, we did enough to kind of get the win and get that losing streak off of us. We were going into that game having lost 4 in a row, and not playing terribly in all 4 games. Just a few things that didn't go our way. But we were able to play well in this one, make some shots down the stretch when we needed to, and get the stops that we needed to. The team remained poised. Even when Methodist went on their run, they took the lead. I want to say it was about 2.5, 3 minutes to go. We stayed with it, though. We stayed with it and continued to run our stuff, got solid shots, got stops down the stretch, made some free throws to end it, and got out of there with a win.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned Nalia Boyce, 13 points, 7 rebounds, really a big first half in particular, getting things going. And then big day on the at the stripe too for several players, including McKenna, who went 9 of 10 from the stripe, and that was big. But you mentioned down the stretch, and this stat really jumped off the screen for me, Coach. The Tornadoes locked down Methodist, who missed 10 of their last 11 field goal attempts in those final minutes. So 1 of 11 down the stretch was Methodist from the field. You have to be pleased with that kind of defense performance down the stretch.
Absolutely, Phil. And we all know at this level, going on a road into a hostile environment like that, it takes everybody to win. And we're in a time right now, we're not shooting the ball our best. So we know we have to be able to lean on that defense, and to hold them to 1 of 11 down the stretch. I think that's a big reason why we came away with the win. Very pleased with the team.
Outstanding. And Coach, we also want to mention Michaela Street, who scores 17 points in 23 minutes. She also went 9 of 10, just like McKenna did from the charity stripe. Her 8th double-digit scoring output of the year. And as a result, she was named the USA South Conference Rookie of the Week earlier today. Her 3rd award of such this season. Just an outstanding acknowledgement for Michaela Street. We've talked about her before on the show, but I'm sure you were really pleased to see her produce on Saturday, and another great award for Michaela.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, this is her 3rd one. Her career is off to a really good start. And when she checks into games, she's checking in to be aggressive on both sides of the ball, and that's something that we really need. And with her speed and her ability to finish around the basket, not many people can stay in front of her consistently. She's going to beat her initial defender 75, 80% of the time. Now what happens next? That's kind of the progression that she has to make, the decision-making, the kicking out, the finishing around the basket. What do I do after I beat my initial defender and the help shows up? Once she gets that, the sky's going to be the limit. Like right now, she's playing really well, doing some good things for us. Has to figure out those shot selection things, though. But when we check her in, we know exactly what we're going to get. We're going to get a ton of energy, somebody that's going to play really, really hard and do all the things that it takes to win. I'm still learning right now, but she's off to a really good start, and I couldn't be more proud of her.
Yeah, kind of cool that as Tornadoes sweep the men's and women's basketball USA South Conference Rookie of the Week awards this week. KK Horton for the men's side, Michaela Street on the women's side. Well, Coach, we've got a big one here at the Bosch in about 48 hours, as the Tornadoes will host Greensboro at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Greensboro sits atop the conference standings. This was a great game when these two teams squared off before in the season. And here we go again, taking on Greensboro, 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Last chance for the home crowd in the regular season, at least, to come on out here to the Bosch. And, these are big games as teams jockey for standings in the USA South Conference, but would love to hear your thoughts as far as, these next 48 hours heading into that one against Greensboro. And of course, how big that night's going to be.
That's a big game, down the stretch, a big game in within the conference, and we get it at home. No place we would rather play than in front of our home crowd, having the number 1 team in the conference come in. And like you alluded to, we played them pretty well back in January, we had a stint of about, I would say, eight live minutes where we did not play well, and they kind of got in transition. We were not making shots. We were not getting the necessary stops, and they pulled away midway through the third into the fourth, and we never really battled back into the game. But there was some positives to take out of that game. We took some positive things out of it. We know what we need to do. We know where we need to look. We know how we want to attack the things that they do differently. And we had a solid day of prep this morning. We'll go back in the gym again tomorrow. We'll work on their stuff. We'll work on ourselves, work versus their zone. Their 1-3-1 zone gave us some problems at their place with their length around it. And so we're going to continue to work on that. And hopefully the home crowd can help us get over the hump. I have no doubt that my team will be ready. They know what rides on this game. And this is a big game, and those are the ones that you really, really get up for, so I kind of look forward to watching the team going out and compete. And myself and Coach AB are going to try our best to put them in the best situations possible.
And Coach, I mentioned there the USA South Conference standings, and obviously we're coming down the stretch here as teams are positioning themselves for postseason. Is that something you talk with the team about, and is it something you guys monitor closely as far as what's happening in the standings? The other teams as they're scoreboard watching, for lack of a better term. I know that's going on probably all over the conference at this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. And no matter what, feel like I try not to. I try not to do a ton of looking at the standings and who's going where, what happens if this team wins, what happens if this team loses. I try to stay focused on us, but it's hard. It's hard not to look at it. So, yeah, we did talk a little bit about this, what was at stake going into Saturday's game. It was the 4 versus the 5. And in my opinion, I felt like whoever won that game was going to have an inside track to hosting a first-round tournament game. And so we do talk about it some. There's a lot that can still happen with 2 through 4, I think, and 5 and 6 are separated by half a game. So nothing's nailed down just yet. We have 2 more. I think a few more teams have 1 more. So we'll know where we stand after Saturday. We try to take care of ourselves, but occasionally, Phil, I peek at it and I'll shoot Coach AB a text about, hey, this could happen, and we'll kind of share it with the team. We didn't want to give them any added pressure going into that game, but I thought they needed to know what they were playing for and what was at stake. And they did a good job of responding to that. Didn't feel like they were pressured or anything, but it was good to know that going into that game.
Well, Coach, we touched on it. Big one in 48 hours on Wednesday, 7 p.m. The Tornadoes hosting Greensboro. Really hope if you're in the area to come on out to the Bosch. We're going to have an outstanding atmosphere for that one. Regular season home finale, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And Coach, you mentioned it, a week ago when you and I were talking, we were dealing with that losing streak, and, you were trying to, figure out how to get the team back on track. And the team, I was really impressed, talking to a couple of your student athletes as far as, their attitude and mindset and so forth, and getting that win at Methodist just I'm sure is a huge sort of, tone setter heading into these final couple games of the regular season and then off to postseason. I'd love to hear it from you, just kind of big picture, how, these last couple weeks, how it's been so, transformative in many ways.
Yeah. And like you said, the team has kept a good spirit about it. That's what made this kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but it made it a little bit easier on us to kind of manage going into games and going into practice, knowing that we're going in with a team that's still fighting. You lose 4 in a row like that, your confidence can be shaken a little bit, but the energy was still there. They understood the things that needed to happen. Like, it's not like we were just, our scheme wasn't working or anything like that. We just needed to make a few more shots, get a few more stops, do the things that we do, and just do them a little bit better. And that's what we were able to do Saturday. And we need to do that on Wednesday and this next coming Saturday. We want to go into this thing feeling good about ourselves. Like, no matter the result of the next few games, there's a certain way that we need to play. There's a certain way that things need to look. And we understand that. And it starts tomorrow. It starts tomorrow with our practice. We need to have a really locked in practice. We can't wait until Wednesday to try to beat Greensboro. We got to do it tomorrow from a mental standpoint, as well as a nice physical practice.
Outstanding, Coach. Well said. Yeah, Tornadoes versus Greensboro, 7 p.m. Wednesday. Then the season finale on the road at Salem, 2 p.m. Saturday in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Coach, can you stick with us just a couple more minutes here? We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes into the program now,
Yes,
as entering the building here. Melanie Hoyle has joined the program. Also, Chyna Pouncey is here. Coach, I'm going to hand it back over to you to help introduce these two outstanding student athletes to NATO Nation.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And NATO Nation knows these kids. They've been around. They've seen their faces and everything, seen them on the court. Chyna Pouncey is a junior for us from Dillon High School down in South Carolina. And Melanie's a sophomore for us from Smoky Mountain here in North Carolina. Melanie plays some volleyball and some basketball, and they both are tremendous players to coach, Phil. You know, I'm blessed, man. I've been blessed the last few years to have a team of women that know what it takes to represent Brevard College women's basketball. And these two fall right under that umbrella. They're a privilege to coach. They work extremely hard every day. They take care of their business off the court. They make my job easy, you know, and it's a pleasure to coach these two young women.
Very good. Well, appreciate that, Coach. Congrats on the win over the weekend at Methodist. We can't wait to see you at the Bosch on Wednesday versus Greensboro. Thanks for joining the show.
Always. Thank you, Phil. Have a nice night.
All right, there he goes, head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. And as he helped us introduce so well, we've joined now by Melanie Hoyle, sophomore forward from Silva, North Carolina. Melanie, thanks for joining the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. And also Chyna Pouncey is in the house, the junior guard from Dillon, South Carolina. Chyna, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. Chyna, let's start with you. You know, this past weekend, that big win, you guys getting back on track at Methodist. Tell us a little bit about, you know, how that felt as a team. You know, you guys that's a long road trip, by the way, all the way to Fayetteville, North Carolina, far on the east side of the state, but you guys got the W. Tell us about it, Chyna.
It was a hard-fought win. We were still missing a few players, but we found a way to push through. And there was a couple times where we kind of like got out of it a little bit, but we was able to get back into it and do what we needed to do to get the win.
Yeah, outstanding. And what did you see from your perspective, Melanie, as far as, you know, what it took for the Tornadoes to get this win? You know, coming off those 4 straight losses, that's a tough spot to be in. And then, you know, to turn things around with that big road win.
Yeah, it was. And like Chyna said, like there was a couple times where things weren't looking too good for us, but we kept energy up and we kept pushing. So glad to pull it out. Yeah,
no doubt. And then back to the Bosch this Wednesday versus Greensboro. It's a 7:00 start, which, you know, gives everybody an extra hour to get on down here. You guys usually play at 6. I have a feeling the Bosch is going to be rocking on Wednesday night. Melanie, let's start with you on this one. As far as that home court atmosphere, you know, how much does it really matter, you know, when it gets loud, and does that really help the players, you know, as far as performing out there when the crowd's pumped up like that?
Absolutely. I think it's just nice to see, like, whenever the gym's packed out, just to see how many supporters you really do have. And it's nice just like having that energy, knowing that it's on your side versus the other way around.
In Chyna, what's it like for you? You know, do you feed off the crowd?
Yeah, I feel like it's a good motivator for us, like keeps us like kind of jibbing through the games, even like maybe we might go on a little slump for a little bit. They like the crowd and the energy keeps us up to try to keep pushing through.
Melanie Hoyle, as we mentioned, sophomore forward from Silva, North Carolina. Melanie, tell us a little bit about your journey as a basketball player. You know, you're also a dual sport student athlete, both women's basketball and volleyball, but would love to hear as far as, like, you know, when you got started with both sports for that matter, and then ultimately, you know, on your way here as a collegiate student athlete.
So I started playing basketball whenever I was in kindergarten, and my dad really got me into it to start off. And I started playing volleyball whenever I was in 7th grade. But I just, ever since middle school, whenever I started playing volleyball, people always told me that I would have to pick one sport to focus on if I wanted to play at that next level. And I didn't listen, and I kept pushing because I knew that I wanted to play both in college, and that's what I did. And playing both sports has really just like taught me like what a commitment level that it takes, especially playing at the next level. And just everyone that has gotten me here has played like a really important role in my life.
And just one follow-up on that, Melanie, as far as, you know, here at Brevard College and on the collegiate level, when you've got both volleyball and women's basketball responsibilities, how do you juggle that, especially during that point of the season where the two overlap?
It was definitely hard coming in as a freshman and trying to figure all that out. but it's definitely nice to have someone else that's going through the same thing. McKenna, she also plays both, and she was a nice role model to have coming in as a freshman. But it really is difficult to balance both at times. But sometimes you just have to like pick which thing you're going to one day for whichever sport. But it really is just all about time management and getting stuff done.
Yeah, really nice job. That's a lot to juggle, not to mention, the classroom as well. Chyna Pouncey, junior guard from Dillon, South Carolina. Chyna, would love to hear also from you as far as your journey. Tell us when you first picked up a basketball, when did it start getting serious, and then ultimately, finding your way to here at Brevard College and playing college ball.
I started playing basketball in 5th grade. I've always kind of like try to explore activities to see which one I like. Like I did karate. I was on band before, but basketball was the one that stuck with me. It started getting serious. I'll probably say my freshman year of high school. That's when that was the only thing I was doing. Like I had already quit karate. I quit band, and it kind of just got serious for me then. And then I ended up here. I was a senior. It was kind of hard for me to like visit schools because of COVID, but I visited here, talked to Coach Hood. I seen that he seemed like he was a kind of good coach. I kind of liked the environment here, so I had made a decision to come here.
Outstanding. We're thrilled that both of you made your way here to the mountains of North Carolina. Hey, Melanie, you're already from the mountains, but you made your way here to Brevard, North Carolina, and Brevard College. Chyna, bringing things back onto the court, and one can't help but notice your style of play. Brady, Penn, and I, talk about it all the time as far as the things you offer, and a lot of it is sort of, a lot of the things that people might not notice as far as the little things behind the scenes, but really active on the glass, 203 career rebounds, 85 offensive rebounds, and defensively, 51 career steals. Pouncey, tell us a little bit about your game, as far as, like how you get it done in these areas that, kind of the dirty work in a lot of ways, correct?
Well, I grew up playing mostly with guys like older cousins or siblings. And they kind of just really helped me be the player I am today. They always like played with me the way they play with each other. They didn't like go easy on me just because I was a girl. Like they'll try to make me tough out of situations. And I guess that just like kind of really is the foundation of the form of how I play now.
And Melanie, I saw you kind of nod in your head there a little. You're mainly an interior player as well, a forward. I don't think people realize just how physical the game of women's basketball is. And I mean, it can get rough and tough out there. And, that's part of the game. Love to hear your comments on, what you all bring to the table as far as the physicality and getting it done inside, underneath the basket. That not easy down there when there's a bunch of players trying to get position.
Yeah. It definitely, like, players like me and Chyna, they tend to get overlooked just because we're not your typical scorers. Like, you're not going to see our stats in points. So it is nice getting that recognition. But it definitely is like a physical sport, especially whenever you are doing the grunt work, getting the rebounds and everything. Like, it's not easy at all. But yeah, no, it is definitely a physical aspect.
Melanie, tell us about the classroom. What are you up to academically? Have you selected a major? What are you working on?
I'm majoring in business. I'm not sure what I want to use it for yet, but I'm only a sophomore, so I still got a couple years to figure it out. But yeah.
Very good. And same question for you, Chyna. What are you working on academically?
I'm majoring in business and minoring in biology.
Outstanding. Well, great to have each of you here with us. We're really excited to see the Tornadoes women's basketball team back in action on Wednesday at the Bosch. We're really trying to pack the place so that we can really, bring down the house there as far as the atmosphere goes, and can't wait to see you all in action. Before we let you go, do want to give you each the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous. Chyna, let's start with you. Shout outs or thank yous?
I want to shout out to my family and my friends and everyone else who's helped impact my life and helped guide me to the person I am today.
Very good. And same opportunity for you, Melanie Hoyle, sophomore forward from Sylva, North Carolina.
I want to start off by thanking God by just allowing me to have this opportunity to play 2 sports in college. And I want to thank my family for also giving me this opportunity and allowing me to come here, and just my coaches too for allowing me to be a 2-sport athlete and just getting me today.
Outstanding. Well, great job this evening on Tornado Talk. Melanie Hoyle and Chyna Pouncey, 2 members of the exciting Tornadoes women's basketball team. They'll be back in action on Wednesday versus Greensboro, 7 p.m. at the Bosch. Let's pack the Bosch, folks, for these ladies. Thanks again, Melanie and Chyna, for joining the show. Great job. We'll see you around the Bosch.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And we will quickly transition here as we're going to bring in Coach Mike Victory in just a moment here. Looked like we had the bullpen ready to go there. Actually, the starting catcher on the Tornadoes team ready to go. We're ready to go. But great to have with us head baseball coach Michael Victory. Coach Victory, thanks for joining the program.
Good to be back.
Yeah, we're back for another one and got the season started this weekend. A doubleheader at Averett on Saturday. It was originally scheduled to be a 3-game series, but some inclement weather, made that decision for us. So doubleheader on Saturday. Tornadoes split with Averett on the road. Before we kind of get into a few of the specifics, would love to hear from you as far as just getting the season started and starting on the road at a formidable Averett club.
Yeah, it was for our guys. It was really exciting to be playing somebody else. Inter squatting gets old after a while, and you want to get out and be together as one unit, against somebody else. And we've opened up with Averett in the past, and they're a fun group to start playing against. They're well coached. We know what they're going to be aggressive. They're going to put pressure on us, and that's exactly what we got. They came right at us, took that opening day from us. But it was good for our guys to remember how to respond and how to stay into a game and work with pressure and work with expectations being put on you again, not just you and the guys at practice. It was real, and there's good turnout for them and for our parents. So it was just overall a good weekend and just glad to be back to baseball.
And then as far as how the games transpired, would love to hear kind of both game 1 and game 2. What you liked as far as the Tornadoes' performance and ultimately, what it took to win that second game and even up the series.
I think, if you got to watch, you can see the pitching staff is going to be a big strength for us. Even in the loss, we got really good outings from Trent and from Caesar. I know they'll tell you maybe a couple too many free passes as a staff this weekend, especially in that game. But they gave us a chance to win it. And, when you hold a team to just a couple of runs, your offense should be able to come through. The biggest thing for us was, leaving too many runners on base. We had the right guys up in the right situations with chance to drive in runs and kind of take control of that game. And we just weren't able to do it. You could see the bats were a little bit behind. And even though we were able to put some pressure on, steal some bases, do things that we like to do, just couldn't come out with the win on the back end. Game 2, our guys knew that a sweep was going to be unacceptable. We had to answer back and come out, and it started with Connor Crosby on the mound, being the bulldog that he is. And even when he gave up an early run, you knew he was going to keep pitching and keep us in it. Took advantage of a couple of mistakes that Averett made, and were able to come in with the runs that we needed, and then go to the bullpen and get a guy that has done a good job of closing out games for us in the past in Bryce Bowers, and he finished it out the way that we expect the pitching staff to do it.
Yeah, outstanding. The 4-2 win to take the doubleheader split. There's Crosby's numbers there: 6 innings pitched, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. So well done there for Connor Crosby. Tell us even more, Coach, as far as the makeup of this year's team for those who haven't had the chance to maybe get out to any of the fall ball or the practices and get to know this year's roster. Tell us kind of just an overview of what Tornado fans can expect this year.
How much time we got, Phil? There's a lot of guys to talk about, and I could be on here for a while if I wanted to, because it's a group that we like, top to bottom, and everyone has a little role in the team. We have good leaders, good upperclassmen that have been around the program for a while, that have played for me and Coach Julian, Coach Huckey, since we got here, and they understand our expectations. Blake Burchett's a name that people know, at the national level for leading the country in stolen bases per game last year, and he's going to keep doing that and being a spark for us. Logan Clark, another captain and a junior, has been in the lineup for a long time now, and is someone that we're going to rely on to continue to be the guy that he has been. Brett Burchett, who you're going to talk to in a little bit, has been around a while too, and is a good leader for us, and he's a fiery guy. Both the Burchetts are fiery guys, and they want to win. And a lot of our guys follow the passion for baseball that leadership group brings. We're going to be high energy and up tempo, and pouring our souls into these games, and that's what I love about the group, is that they're bought in from first pitch to last pitch, and they all want to be there. There's just a really good mix. Like I said, I could go on and on about a lot of individual guys in this program, but it's a group that makes it really hard for our coaching staff to go in and write a lineup or bring a pitcher out there, not because we don't have options, but because we have so many options, so much depth, so many guys that could do it, and it's just about us putting the right combo together and clicking at the right time, and that's what's exciting about our early season. We play a lot of games in this early go, and we can get a lot of different guys opportunities. So come conference play, we'll know where we're at, and you're going to see a lot of names kind of cycling through in the next few weeks, but it's because a lot of guys can do it.
Yeah, well, what I can recommend for Tornado fans is make your way out to Gilcone Field, and you'll get to witness firsthand this team. The Tornadoes will be actually on the road on Saturday at Toccoa Falls for a doubleheader. Then they'll host Toccoa Falls on Sunday for opening day at Gilcone Field. The doubleheader begins at 12 noon as the Tornadoes host Toccoa Falls. Coach, you've been through a bunch of these, but that opening day vibe at a collegiate baseball stadium, there's nothing like it. And I'm sure the guys are going to be excited. Would love to hear your perspective on, just sort of the significance of opening day at Gilcone Field in particular, and, what it's going to mean for the club to be here on the home field.
Yeah. I mean, I had butterflies Friday night getting ready for Saturday. The start of a season is really exciting, and getting to play is a lot of fun, and that energy is so high because it's a lot of pent up, like, I want to play baseball feeling that you have going for you. And I know I'll have it again going into Sunday, because opening day at home is a big deal. We've done really well at home as of late, and there's been some really nice upgrades to the field that the guys are really excited to go out and defend. The field's playing really, really well, and they're excited to play at home. The crowds that we get at home are amazing, from the parents, from the student section. It's loud and it's energetic there, and I know the vibe's different when we get to roll out of our own beds and play at home, and know a lot of people are going to be there cheering us on. It's definitely a special place to have baseball when that hill's full, and especially when the weather keeps getting warmer and warmer for this group.
You mentioned it, Coach, a 13-7 home record last year at Gilcone Field for the Tornadoes, and winners of their last 5, including 4 of those at Gilcone Field. So home field advantage is certainly a thing in this case. You mentioned, Coach, some of the upgrades to the stadium and to the field. Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Sure. We got some brand new clay and turf is put into the infield, so it's playing really nice right now. One of our old graduating seniors, Jason Jucker, or graduated seniors, Jason Jucker's, I know, a little jealous of what we got going on in there, because he battled through it a little bit in the last couple of years. But the infielders are psyched to have that, and even our base runners love running on it now too. Got a brand new fence topper out there and a nice new backstop padding. It's continuing to make the stadium look nicer and nicer, and it gives a lot of pride to these guys to have that special place that they can call home, and they can look at and be like, I love playing here, and I want to continue to defend this place.
Well, can't wait to see you all in action this Sunday for opening day. Coach, you also mentioned Coach Julian and Coach Huckey. Rob Julian, associate head coach and recruiting coordinator, does so much work with the pitching staff. And then Steve Huckey, a veteran, the volunteer assistant coach. Also, we have two former Tornadoes who NATO Nation would be familiar with these two names, part of the staff as well, Jack Atkinson and Ben Melton. Tell us about this coaching staff, how invaluable that is to you as the head coach, to have a staff like that behind you.
Coach Julian and Coach Huckey have been with me, from the start. Coach Julian, even before then, he played for me at Allegheny College. So he's known what my expectations are and what I'm looking for, especially out of his staff, before we even got here. And he continues to try to hold those guys to the standard that I held him to. He'll tell you that I was harder on him than he maybe was on these guys. But I know he's out there pushing that group in the right direction. Coach Huckey's experience was invaluable to me, when we started out. Having someone that's been through it that I could ask questions of and make sure I was heading in the right direction as a head coach was huge. And he's a ball of energy himself out there. And I know he wishes he could be there even more than he gets to be sometimes, but he's good to have there and has another point of view that we can bounce off. Coach Hill and I can bounce off. And then we lost Jack Atkinson was only here for us in the fall. He's not with us in the spring, which was a bummer because he was a big part of the growth of this program as a player going into last year and graduating. And then Ben graduated 2 years ago. He played for us too. He understands where this program has come from and the growth that he's seen in the last few years. So he has another perspective that he can bring for the guys, having played for us and worked with us and been through two different sides of the coin. And it's been nice. We've had an alumni helping us out. I think at least the last 3 years, and it's been great to have those guys invested in the program again. They want to stick around. They want to continue to help it grow, and they want to continue to give back to these players, and see how far we can take it.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, before we let you go, how about one more pitch for opening day on Sunday? I can't wait to get things going there as well. Gilcone Field, 12 o'clock Sunday doubleheader versus Toccoa Falls. Would love to see folks out there and checking out some baseball here in February. Coach, just one more message, if you would, to NATO Nation as far as what it means also to the student athletes to have a nice crowd behind them.
Yeah, I think the louder it gets, and I know the basketball coaches have talked about it. It's been a lot of fun for me to be there. I work a lot of those games. I get to watch some of those games, and that environment for that group is excellent. And when it's loud, they're playing better, and I think it makes it a really hard place for opposing teams to play. And it's the same thing outside. The louder it gets at Gil's Place, the tougher it is on the opponents, the faster it gets for the other pitchers, and the fans that we have had show up are just great at getting behind us. We play with high energy. The game's going to move fast. I think that's, baseball gets a bad rap for being slow, but our guys are going to want to kick things up a notch. We're going to do a lot of different things to keep the fans engaged. I know NATO's throwing out the first pitch on Sunday. So if you want to get there a little early and see NATO throw it out, they'll be out there. We're going to do some bingo boards with some results of players and their actions to hopefully win some prizes for folks if they want to come out and maybe learn a little bit more about the game or more about some of the names on our team. They can play along with us, which I think that'll be a lot of fun. But if you can't make it this weekend, try to catch a game because it's a fun group to watch. They're going to play with a lot of energy.
Outstanding. Gilcone Field, a.k.a. Gil's Place, the place to be on Sunday beginning at noon for that doubleheader versus Toccoa Falls. Coach mentioned NATO throwing out the first pitch. That's the mascot of Brevard College. A white squirrel, by the way, throwing out the first pitch. And, should be a lot of fun out there on opening day at Gilcone Field on Sunday. Coach, you able to stick with us a couple more moments as we invite in a couple of your student athletes here?
Absolutely.
All right, join the program now. Brett Burchett and Connor Crosby. I'll hand it back to you, Coach. Help introduce these two to NATO Nation.
Brett's a super senior captain here. He's been here from the beginning for me and the coaching staff. been a big part of a lot of conversations and helping everything grow. And he's a good common presence in the dugout to help everything, move along when we need a leader. Crosby's a new one. He probably won't be his last time here on Tornado Talk. He's gonna pitch a lot for us, and again, these two worked really well together. This past weekend, and they showed what our pitching staff can do. So keep an eye on both these guys. One for the last time and one for the first time.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much, Coach. We can't wait to see you out there this weekend at Gilcone Field. Best of luck also to that road series you've got on Saturday at Toccoa Falls, rather. And can't wait to get this thing going here at Brevard College. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
All right, there he goes, head coach Mike Victory, and we're going to be joined in just a moment here. Oh, actually, we are all set. We got the players here and ready to get going as Coach Victory has exited there, and joined now by Brett Burchett in that upper right corner, Connor Crosby on the lower side of the ledger. Brett, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you, Phil?
Yeah, great to have you with us. And Connor, welcome to Tornado Talk. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming, Phil. I've been excited and ready to do this for a while.
Awesome. Well, great to have you guys. Great to talk some baseball here. We've been waiting for this moment. I stop by practice every once in a while, whether it's during fall ball or here in the spring. And it's got to feel good to finally have this thing underway. Brett, love to hear from your perspective first, as far as, just that feeling of finally getting the season going after all that practice you guys have put in.
Phil, I've been fired up for a while getting ready for it, and it's just something that never gets old. Every year it's the same feeling. You get the same jitters. You can never get over it. But as soon as that first pitch is thrown, you remember, this is just a baseball game. It's time to lock in and it's time to play. And it ain't no different than anything we've ever done before. So we just get out there and go to business.
And Connor, same question for you. You guys have been working hard the entire off season, and then heading into the camp here this spring, and finally underway.
Yeah, like Coach Victory said, we get tired of playing against each other throughout the fall, and we're just ready to dog another team and get after it. And I think with this group of guys, we have the energy and we have what it takes to go the distance, and I think we're just ready for it.
Connor, you started in earned your first career victory in that second game of that Averett doubleheader. Can you tell us that, your day on a day like that, when you're starting game 2 of a doubleheader, there's one thing with the rest of the roster who's like, all right, we're ready to rock and roll and get this thing started. But you've got to stay focused on your job, which is starting pitcher, game 2 of the series. Take us through your Saturday this past week.
Right. So, it starts when we get off the vans, we're ready to go. My job typically is I go through charts. I run charts for the first game, try and find out where the team's weaknesses are and where me and my catcher, Brett, can dominate that next game. And, we look for ways that we can find their weaknesses, and we look for ways where we can improve. And so that's our goal, is to go out and attack. And as we can see after this weekend, that's what we did. We kind of got after it a little bit. So.
Yeah, no doubt. And Brett got that win in that second game of the doubleheader, a big one, to get that split at Averett. That's an opponent you're used to. You've seen him every year here, and able to get that second game was big.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was it's a big step to go out and get a win for a guy on his first start. So I think our guys did a great job playing behind Crosby and on the offensive side of the field to really make sure we sealed in a win there. Giving up a run early in the game, to have it go that way, to see Crosby bounce back and keep going and get a quick out following a home run was a big step. And to see the way he rebounded from that and kept his head going, one run's not going to beat us 9 times out of 10, Phil. So knowing that and putting that in the back of the mind and just keeping playing and answering right back after that was a big deal for us.
And Brett, tell us even more, as the catcher, you work so closely, with these pitchers, Connor Crosby included. You see his numbers there. Catchers probably don't get enough credit. Like, they're a big part. Whenever there's pitching stats, the catcher is part of that equation as well. But Brett, would love to hear your perspective as far as, that part of the game.
Absolutely.
Working with your pitcher.
Absolutely. There's a large part of the game that depends on what kind of communication goes on between the pitcher and the catcher. and what kind of page they can be on when it comes to calling the right pitches in the right situations. And I felt that from the first pitch of the game, me and Crosby were on the exact same page every single pitch. I don't think he shook me a single time, and if he did, it was the very next sign. I knew exactly what to go with. So just being on that same page and keeping the game flowing, we had a great pace going. We were moving fast, keeping guys off balance, keeping them guessing, and pitching guys backwards, pitching them traditional, whatever it took. We were on that.
And Connor, I see you nod in your head, as far as the catcher's part of it, Brett's part in particular on Saturday. I'd love to hear your thoughts as far as, working with Brett on Saturday, but also just how important that is, moving forward as far as, that synergy, being on the same page with your catcher.
Yeah, I think it's big being on the same page as our catcher. Catchers, like you said, catchers don't get enough credit for the work they put in back there. And, this guy's been busting his tail just through the first game in the fall to back us up and back me up, especially. And, I think
it's been big for me and Crosby the last couple of weeks. Coach Victory has allowed us to work together through inter squads, get some kinks figured out, make sure we're on the same page, know what we're wanting in certain situations, know what pitch we need to go to when we need it. And getting on that has really, really helped us get ready for that first game. To come out and have the chemistry that we had in that first game is a great thing to see, because it's only going to get better from this point.
Yeah. As you can see, he says words way better than I do.
you guys are both doing great. Don't even worry about that. Outstanding stuff. I'd love getting kind of into some of these details of what it takes to put through that kind of effort that you see there. Crosby with the win, 6 innings pitched, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. Brett, Coach mentioned it. Super senior captain. Would love kind of your thoughts on this season, this role for you, being a captain, being a super senior. I'm sure you get some ribbon from your teammates as far as, rocking chair type stuff and all that. But hey, you're important to this program. That's for sure, with this kind of experience.
Of course. And it's nice to be some of the one of the older guys on the team, to have some of that experience, and to be somebody that the younger guys can come to with questions, especially early in the season as we are right now. It's a long season, and as it drags out, it's great to have some solid leadership, and being put in the position that I've been put in over the last 2 years has been awesome. I feel like it's helped me grow as an individual. It's helped me grow my leadership abilities, and I really hope and think that I've helped this team grow in a solid way. Me and my cousin Blake, as well as Logan, have put in a lot of work behind the scenes and on the field to keep this operation running smoothly. We work with Coach Vic and Coach Julie and Coach Huckey on a literal multiple times a day basis, and seeing how everything's come together from where we were when we started has been an amazing thing. It wasn't always winning ball games every weekend. So seeing how far we've come over the last few years has been an awesome thing.
Outstanding. Connor Crosby, sophomore left-handed pitcher out of the Tampa Bay area, St. Petersburg High School in specific. Connor, tell us a little bit about your journey, as a ball player. There's a lot of good baseball down there in Tampa Bay. So you came up around, I would imagine, some really competitive, leagues and so forth. But tell us about your journey. When did it start? And then ultimately how it made its way here to Brevard College.
Yeah, so it really started when I was 7. I picked up a baseball, and I knew right then and there I wanted to compete. And I knew that this was a sport that I had fallen in love with, and it was what I wanted to do. In my first year out of high school, I went to a junior college, and it didn't really work out for me. Good thing I got my best bud up here, Logan Clark, lived right down the road from me growing up, and he pushed me to really come here and do something good and not just stop playing. So Coach Julian has been trying to recruit me for the past few years, and it finally worked out when that opportunity fell through. So Logan got me up here, and it's just been great being by him and fighting with him and getting through it and doing it together.
As a follow-up on that, just how far back do you and Logan go as far as former teammates and so forth, but before Brevard College?
Man, it's been a while. We knew each other through middle school, basically, with mutual friends. And then, once we stepped on the diamond together in high school, that's when things really started kicking off, just battling with each other and going after it and getting wins. It's what you love doing with your best friend. And, I hope it continue.
And Brett Burchett, we mentioned the super senior, the captain, the catcher out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Brett, I'd love to hear kind of your reflection on, that moment where you made your way to Brevard College, from the, Mooresville area.
It's been quite a long time ago now, Phil. It's hard to look back that far, but it was kind of an easy choice. Once I came up to this area, I immediately fell in love. It was obviously a different coaching staff at that point, but I really enjoyed what they were doing, and it was nice to see a program that was willing to have me on, and to come up here and really fall in love with the area has been something awesome. Adding Blake to the team last year was something great. I played with him since Lord knows we were running around in diapers. So it's been really fun to have 2 last seasons out on a diamond with a cousin that we've been leaders on teams together since we've started picking up baseballs. So to see that come to fruition at the end has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, really cool stuff. The 2 cousins and Blake Burchett. You could find the hardware is impressive if you want to come check it out in the trophy case.
Oh, yeah.
The nation's leader in stolen bases last season.
Yeah, you had to show up and steal the thunder, but that's all good.
Outstanding. Hey, opening day this Sunday. So, step one sort of in this, get the season going process was this first series on the road at Averett. You've got 2-game series at Toccoa Falls on Saturday at their place, but then they come to town on Sunday, and it's going to be opening day at Gilcone Field. Brett, let's start with you as far as just how significant that is to get your first home game under your belt.
It's always a great time, Phil. It's great to play in front of a home crowd. It's great to play in front of, your family, your friends, people you go to class with every day. Some of the professors even show up. It's great to see some familiar faces at your ball games, and it's also great to just see some of these freshmen and younger class and underclassmen really go through the college baseball experience the first time. And I remember when I was in their shoes and what it was like, and trying to be a mentor and guide them the right way and show them the way that we do things in the Tornado way has been a lot of fun, and there's no feeling like opening day.
Yeah, Connor, you're looking forward to getting the action going at Gil's place.
I am. Yep. I've yet to experience it for the first time in the spring. So, this should be fun, seeing some familiar faces and dealing in front of the home crowd. I'm excited. I hope we have the energy, and I hope we bring a win for you guys.
Outstanding. Connor Crosby, sophomore lefty out of Tampa, Florida. Connor, tell us a little bit about the classroom. What are you working on academically? Have you selected a major?
Yes, sir. I have. I've pursued business. And hopefully when I get out of here, I can be an entrepreneur or run a own company or do something big,
Very good. Good place to do that for sure. The business program here at Brevard College. Same question for you, Brett Burchett. Tell us what you're up to academically.
So I am a double major in criminal justice and business as well. And then I have a minor in wilderness leadership and experiential education. So I've got a few options that I'm pursuing when I get out of here, but not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I'm probably going to pursue something in the sales industry or something around the business world.
Very cool. Brett, just one more for you. Since you've been here so long and you talked about, finding Brevard College and all that, for those, we get a good amount of high school prospective student athletes across the board checking us out on Tornado Talk and that kind
Absolutely.
of thing. For someone who's really, experienced the whole deal, tell us about Brevard College. Tell us about this area of the country that not everybody's been to necessarily. And then finally, what it's like to be part of this baseball program.
Phil, most importantly, I think Brevard College as a whole is a great experience as a student. It's a different classroom setting than what 90% of students in my experience are used to. We're a very hands-on school. It's very demanding as a student, but we have the experiential learning program through Brevard College. So getting that experience in the classroom is something that I hope will translate very well into the work world. But in terms of the area we're in, Phil, if you're interested in the outdoors, there's no better place on the planet. We've got every river you could imagine, every type of fishing you could imagine, countless mountain biking trails, Pisgah National Forest, everything you could imagine. It's one of the most beautiful areas on the planet, no kidding. So When it comes to the baseball team, though, I mean, we're a group of fiery guys. We might not do it the way everybody else does it, but we're going to win some baseball games, and that's for sure.
And Connor, your first year as a student athlete here at Brevard College, tell us how you're liking it up here in the mountains.
Oh man, well, coming from Florida, it's not very cold often, so that's an adjustment I got to get used to for sure. And it's been great so far. And obviously being from Florida, we don't see mountains a lot like this. And I've never seen snow, Phil. So coming up here and being able to see snow for the first time is really something special and something I've been looking forward to my whole life. So to be able to do it here around the guys that I love is something amazing, and I'm forever thankful to be able to do it every day.
Outstanding. Well, we're thrilled to have you here, Connor, and thrilled to have both of you guys on the program this evening. Connor, before we let you go, kind of a tradition here at Tornado Talk. You might have heard about it, through the grapevine, but we give every student athlete an opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous. Anybody who maybe has helped you along the way, someone who might be tuning into this program or not, really the floor is yours. Shout outs or thank yous, Connor Crosby.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all the coaches, my family, my mom, obviously, my uncles and stuff like that. Shout out to my sister who's getting married this weekend. And I'm just ready to get going.
Very cool. Same opportunity for Brett Burchett. You know the drill, Brett.
Oh, yeah, of course. As always, I'd like to thank my parents and the next addition to the Tornado family, my little brother, who will be here next year, coming in to play baseball as well. So you'll have another one to talk to. So you can't get rid of us yet. But, I just like to thank my coaches for giving me the opportunity to come back for a fifth year and continue to play the game that I've loved since I was a little kid. And it's been an awesome opportunity. So thank you to them and thank you to anyone that's helped me along this journey.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. Great stuff with two baseball student athletes, Brett Burchett and Connor Crosby. Really appreciate you guys joining the show this evening. Can't wait to see you opening day on Sunday at Gill's Place. It all starts at noon this Sunday. Hope you can join us as well, NATO Nation. Brett Burchett, Connor Crosby, thanks for joining the program. Great job, fellas.
Thank you, Phil. Have a good night.
All right, there they go. And with that, that'll wrap up another edition of Tornado Talk. Really glad you're able to join us for this one. We had a lot of fun talking baseball with head coach Michael Victory, along with student athletes Connor Crosby and Brett Burchett. We had women's basketball student athletes Melanie Hoyle and Chyna Pouncey on the show as well as head women's coach Donald Hudson, head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess, and seniors Paris Crawford and David Seeley from the men's basketball program. Big women's basketball game on Wednesday versus Greensboro, 7 p.m. right here at the Bosch. And then we've got home spring sport action on Sunday at 11 a.m. matchup with the women's lacrosse team hosting their season opener, and then opening day for the baseball team begins at noon. So a lot of opportunities for NATO Nation, and you can check it all out at bctornadoes.com or follow the Tornadoes on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Well, appreciate everybody who helped behind the scenes as well. Roya Tomasabi pushing all the buttons. Also, Emily Denega and Cassidy Hutto for their production support. And that'll just about do it for this edition of Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the program. Go Tornadoes!